So hello everybody and welcome back to another live stream. It's another one with F1 CRR, and tonight it is the round 8 here at the British Grand Prix. And there you go, we already having drivers leaving the sessions, driver getting into sessions. Unfortunately today I've literally got only my PC in the whole room, so which could result in some echo, but hopefully it won't be much. And you could hear the audio loud and clear. You can let me know how the audio quality is as we're just on the way for the British Grand Prix qualifying session, as it always is. 17 qualifying minute, 18 qualifying minute, short qualifying minutes, and the 50% race as we await drivers leaving the pits. There are a lot of them leaving, but none of them have to be our known drivers. So let's have a look at it, get the best details, best lap, tyres, fastest lap, leader, and have a look at it. Let's go, as we are now gonna be getting things ready. Okay, there you go, we are now on it. Hopefully the audio quality would be decent enough. Let's hope it's good. And there are drivers out on some out laps, and I think I see one of the drivers, and that is, yes, that is this man, see it, Captain Teenless. Actually this is him now, it wasn't him before, but he didn't have a good weekend coming into this one from France. We're sure looking to recover, and certain, remember, getting that pole position back in France. That was a great lap from him, but in the end just didn't got much on, but in the race we'll have to see what everything can anybody do. We'll have to wait and see what he could do here at Silverstone. I think a lot of protagonists, a lot of rivals in this qualifying session, along with at the moment Knife are currently in the pits, Teenless, Penna, and Noah. So it's kind of 3-4 drivers, I think, or 5 in total in this lobby. We'll have to have a look at it. And Teenless is your first one to start a flying lap, and these cars are crazy screaming onto the page, and into 6th gear, flat out, as he's gonna get his mismed. He's gonna go just a little bit of a feel on the grass. That was really close. It's just out laps, but the driver's going very, very wide, and that is absolutely not what he wants, but sure in a little bit. And there you go, he's just gonna start his flying lap, become our very first and one of the very few drivers that have started and went on to start a flying lap. We'll see how good he does. Last time we saw a classic car, actually a Williams, run at Silverstone, as old as this one. It was exactly this one, I think 1992, Nigel Mansell's championship winning car, which was Sebastian Vettel who drove it a few years ago. And it is Teenless now on a flying lap. It needs to put a better lap time. It needs a better weekend, better race here in Silverstone rather than he had back in France. There we go, as we are now having a look at it. Just making sure the audio and everything is good out of there. Of course, I've got a lot of echo in here. There you go, Teenless currently at the moment the only driver that has started the flying lap, I shall say. Certain it's Knifer has just joined the session now, actually had went out of it, and Certain Penna currently on a flying lap out there as well, so definitely we want to see him get onto a flying lap as quicker as possible as well. But Teenless at the moment just onto the final sector now. We definitely want him to be out there, him to put a lap time that we could have a benchmark for everybody else, but we'll have to wait and see how good he does and how better does he do it this time, just around the last chicane, and we'll have to wait and see how good does Teenless do across that final corner. He's going to go flat out to the line, and that is going to be 140.5. That might or might not be enough. We'll have to wait and see for others to be on their flying laps. And no, several, there you go, I did not see the guy, I think, at the start of the session, so it is going to be 5, I think, drivers in the session now. Penna just starting his flying lap as well, but no, Sebo could be your man, and there you go, Certain at the moment, just making his way past in that middle sector. He's just going to come at the end of it, 31.7. What about No Sebo? If he has started the flying lap, we're just going to get to know that in a little bit of time. No Sebo goes fastest now on pole, 140.2. That is going to be the quickest of all so far. But for how long is it going to be quickest? Is Chris going to be able to do a better job? Who didn't got pole or didn't do a good job in qualifying back in France? In fact, put his car in the wall in qualifying in France. We've got this all eyes on workman now, and that is Certain Penna, the French Grand Prix pole sitter, and he's invalidated his lap, so nothing's going to count, and he's sure going to be pretty pissed off with this one, which obviously he would have wanted to get this lap on and get something out on the board. But let's have a look at Teenless now, who's not improving, 1.4 seconds down on his previous lap time, and No Sebo at the moment improving by another 2/10. That is really impressive from No Sebo, who finished third, I think, in France. Definitely not a good qualifier. Actually qualified P2 and got lead at the start of the race. A great start from him, got him to get the lead from front row, but that didn't stay his for too long after he was overtaken by, in fact, Chris Snifer, and then get overtaken by the pole sitter Certain Penna, who finished second in the race. And now I think Certain, having invalidated his lap, he started another one, but nothing's going to matter for him at the moment. No Sebo's improving even more. He's going to go into the 139s, that's for sure, and across that finish line that is going to be another quicker lap, and that is 139.983. He definitely was looking on for a great improving lap, and sure he's done it. What about all the other drivers now? As there we go, Teenless is improving by 4100, but not much is going to be mattering, as we'll have to see how good he's doing. Knifer still in the pits though. I think he's joined the session, he was disconnected. And Certain now, no assist at the moment, having no lap time at the board as well, but so has Certain. But Certain is on the way to do it, so he's just going to make it his way past the final middle sector, the end of the middle sector, and into the final sector. We'll have to see how quick he does and how good he's able to do, but just in a little bit of time we'll get to know that, and we'll see how good the man has done it. How good is the Italian going to be able to do? Is he going to be able to get pole? I think Teenless is just in fact ahead of him, but he's going to try and get out of the way, and that might have been messy for Certain there. That was really lucky. I think he's lucky that he just didn't go into the front wing of his, and Certain goes P3 and slowest of the cars. And I think maybe Teenless being there should have done something out there, because he definitely wouldn't like it out there, as we are waiting now for Chris to leave the pits. He's still in the pits. Not sure what's going on with him though, but we will have to wait and see. I'm sure so far the qualifying is going good and smooth at the moment. As we are having a look at, now there you go, Certain again. Now he's improving by 10th and a half, almost 10th and a half, as Teenless is now on a flying lap as well. Sebo pretty much on a cool down lap to cool the temperatures down, cool everything up there. And there you go, Certain now ahead of Teenless. Is actually going to give him some tow, which might help Teenless at the moment. It's going to be really close to see who does better and good in the middle sector, as that is going to be the end of the middle sector board. So it's going to be 1.6 seconds improvement by Certain in the middle sector, at the end of the middle sector in the whole lap. Didn't got to see anything from Certain. That 1.6 seconds, but which might not be enough. Only would be enough for P2 though. We'll have to see if Teenless is coming into the pits. He knows that lap doesn't have anything in him, so he's going to just retire and get out of the pits. But what about Certain now? Really, must have got his hopes up, and surely why shouldn't he do that? He goes on pole by almost 1 second, and that is 1:39.077. What a fantastic lap by the Italian driver in a McLaren. Oh, that was really close, that little snap of the rear, but he's put the time fastest unless somebody could do something about it. But in the top 4, no one has done it yet. It is 142.4 from no assist as well. That is far off from what is known. 139.0. No Sebo's got so much time. I think Serton really the last 2 races, but unless some No Sebo could do something about it, he in fact does improve by over 5.5 tenths. That is huge improvement for him as well, but he just can't do anything about it. Still almost 4 whole tenths behind Serton. Serton's really got his game up in qualifying now. I think as long as Chris doesn't come up with something extraordinary that he does all the time, and he's on and out lap, and I think definitely that might be in the minds of Serton, that might be in the minds of No Sebo, and that Teenless far off these guys, but it might be in his as well, that Chris is coming and is going to push everyone in position. But to be fair, Chris didn't do that good in qualifying back in France, so we'll have to see how good he does though. But we'll get to know, we'll get our answer just in a little bit time. Was that Chris's spin? It wasn't his spin. He's just making his way past the final corner to start his flying lap, with just 7 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. Not much. Surely last few laps would be remaining, as Chris is just, and he's invalidated already. That is not good news for Chris though out there, because doesn't have a lap time on board. The top 4 does, so only 6 minutes remaining. Still he has got time though, but he's invalidated his lap, and now he's going through the gravel, and it's going everywhere, and he's disqualified. Okay, that is Teenless getting disqualified for going the wrong way in the qualifying session. So we've already lost 1 person. I think his time's not going to mean anything at all since he's disqualified. So it is No Sebo who's making his way past the grass. Serton currently in the pits, and Chris Knifer really not having a good night till so far. He didn't get to start the lap, but I think he's just making his way past the circuit corners, in fact skipping all of them to just save as much time as he can though, because definitely that is going to be help. That is going to be something that he needs so far, because he definitely needs a lap time out there, and if he doesn't get it, that is going to be pretty much game over for him. But I think in the races he's been very amazing, considering that is, so I think in qualifying, until he's inside that top 3, he shouldn't be worried much. But obviously it is qualifying, and it is Formula 1. Anything could happen, especially these cars. Any driver could lose it some corners sometimes and could put themselves in the wall. So obviously it is anybody's game, and it could be anybody who could take pole. Serton at the moment going top of the timing sheet, so a lap time of 139.0, currently in the pits with 5 minutes remaining. But we will have to see how good it is, and we will get to see how he's able to do. Is Mr. Chris Knifer at the moment, your previous French Grand Prix winner, the driver who's won twice this season, against a driver who hasn't won a Grand Prix yet this season, Serton Penna, who's got 1 pole position already. Is he going to go and get another one? We'll get to know in a little bit time, but sure, it's going to be very exciting as we get to see now. I think Chris is going to be just starting his flying lap. No, he's coming into the pits. That means he's going to get another set of tyres. So surely he's wasted a set of tyres, which he wouldn't like, but I'm sure he's going to do everything he can to do as better as he can, as good as he can, to get his car to the top, to get his team to the top, which obviously they need. He's got pole previously, but he needs it once again to get the better start. I think race starts even if he's got to start up the grid, he hasn't had the race starts he would have wanted. But sure, I think the previous Grand Prix, it was a good recovery for him after damage on lap 1, getting himself to about almost P3, I think. P2 it was actually at the French Grand Prix. But we are now having a look at no assist at the moment, currently making his way past the Copse corner, just flat out through there. I don't think you could go flat in these cars, but going smooth as top 3 in the pits, as Teenless has been disqualified, so no assists have been promoted to P3 at the moment. If you're enjoying the stream and you're around here, make sure to follow. No Assist does improve almost 7 tenths, but I think he's far off the leaders at the moment, and No Sebo out on a flying lap. So it is going to be the man who's won twice this season against the man who's also won twice this season, versus the man who hasn't won this season yet, but I'm sure since the last few races he's been knocking on the door. He's been doing as good as he can, preparing the best, but only it matters when it's the Sunday, when it's the race. And there is going to be no assist, still out on an out lap though. What about no assist? Currently improving by over 4 tenths, or I think more, but that is going to be 140.8, still far off, 1.4 seconds off at least No Sebo, and almost a what? Okay, almost a second. I thought, okay, that was my bad. It was the AI driver in 4th place with 144.4. I was like, that is the AI driver, but of course that is no assist, but that was no assist. But now just 2.5 minutes remaining in this qualifying session, with Chris Sniper not having a lap time on board, winning the previous Grand Prix, but that from 3rd place. But that doesn't always mean you're going to win the Grand Prix from 3rd place. So he's got the pressure to put a lap in. He invalidated his lap on the previous one. He definitely wants to stay away from those white lines. Get as close as you can, but not get all 4 wheels off it. And No Sebo starting his flying lap. He wants to get closer to the leader. He wants to get to the top of the timing sheet and go on pole, which obviously he wants. And there's a little slide from him, I think. He obviously didn't want that, but sure, he's going to continue everything he can and do the most, as we just having a bit of an issue, but getting past this is going to be as smooth as we can as we just get through this around. Just now, not even 2 minutes in this qualifying session remaining. No assist, not improving on his previous lap, not on his time, and No assist has retired from the session. He might have crashed. We'll have to wait and see if he has crashed though. And that is going to be No assist, or not improving at all. 3 tenths down on his previous lap time. Certain on an out lap at Chris Sniper has been on his flying lap. I think No assist might have lost it into the walls. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully the car isn't cleared until Chris gets there. He's just making his way past the Cops corner into the Megas and Beckett's, and on the DRS straight. The car is just cleared. That means he might have crashed at No assist, currently in P3, but sure, Chris's lap is going to put him somewhere in between the top 3. But we'll have to see what No Sebo at the moment. He's not improving and he's invalidated his lap. Certain currently in the pits. That means he's not going to come out. With less than a minute now remaining in the session, he's not going to come out. So that was going to be his one and only chance. And now this is going to be Chris's one and only chance to put a lap time on board and to see where he's going to line up here on this British Grand Prix qualifying session. We will just get to know in a little bit time. And of course that finish line, that is going to be P2 for Chris Sniper. That is going to see him in 139.3. Certain Penna now on his way to get 2 consecutive poles, unless something could be done by No Sebo, currently P3, just making his way past at the end of the first sector. How quick is he going to be? He's 5 tenths quicker than his previous lap time. That could be good news for Chris. That could be good news for No Sebo though, as he's just about 4 tenths behind Certain. There could be a chance for him to take pole position. We'll get to know in a little bit of time, but I'm sure he wants to get that. He wants to get that more eagerly and get to that as quickly as he can as well. But sure, he wants it. Sure, Chris wants it. Chris also got a chance though, because in these cars you got no DRS, no ERS to improve or to do anything with it. So this is going to be very interesting between these two pretty much. Now the battle could be over for Certain, but no, it's not over until it's over. And No Sebo now 3 tenths quicker than his previous lap time. But what about Chris Sniper? He's also improving about 3 tenths on his previous lap as well. Certain's decision of not coming out to put a lap time on board might hurt him towards the end of the qualifying session, as we're just going to be able to see that with this man No Sebo at the moment, as he's making his way past the final corner. He's going to take the checkered flag and not take pole position. Does improve by 2.5 tenths, but it's not enough for pole position. What about Chris Sniper? Is he going to be able to get himself into pole position? And he will be. That is going to be pole for Chris Sniper once again. Another pole position. He just denies Certain Penna of another 2 consecutive poles. But this was great. I think it's going to be a great chance for Serton to be in P2, but over 4.5 tenths. Not sure if Serton headed himself that much in him, but I think he might do so. We'll have to have a look of what everybody can do. That will be, ladies and gentlemen, it for the race, for the qualifying session. We'll just get into the qualifying session just a little bit, into the race in a little bit. That is going to be the British Grand Prix. Fantastic qualifying. Sure you enjoyed it. That was absolutely amazing. So there you go, waiting for the drivers to join and everybody to get in there as we go, as we wait and go into the race session. I wonder if there's going to be a break. I don't think so. But drivers, teams, everybody just getting themselves ready, getting the cars ready, getting their teams and the best of the best setups they can for the race. So that is going to be interesting to see who gets the better start off the line. I think Nosebo has been actually able to get better starts than his rivals in the last few races, but we'll only get to know about that in a little bit time and see how he does it and how better he's going to be able to do that. We'll just get to know that in a little bit time as we get underway to start the Grand Prix. There you go, cars out on track. Everybody's ready. Nothing more you could do now. So it is going to be 26 laps of the British Grand Prix as it is. It is the formation lap to get the temperatures in the tyres, to get the best of the best you can. And to our full wheels and perform the best all these drivers can. The top 4 out there at B20 is Teenless. He's got disqualified from the qualifying session, which actually put him way down, because I think that is going to be, I think his time could have at least let him be at P3, P4 though, but I think he might have been able to just stay ahead of Gnosis though, but we'll get to see how good he does. But our focus would be the top 3. Oh, there you go, there's a little bit of a slide from Chris Knifer out there. That means there's not much grip at all. There's not much grip out on the track. So anytime there could be a snap, there could be a problem a little with the grip, and that could bring up the drivers into the walls. Maybe just like no assist. I think he did retire, but I'm sure he wouldn't retire in the middle of the track. The rules wouldn't allow him, so he must have crashed as well. And these drivers eagerly waiting to get the best of starts, and these cars are really screams into your ears. And Chris now sliding around. I wonder that he's just having fun with it, or he's just he's got new tactics to warm up his tires. That is going to be, I think it's going to be pretty much a one-stopper with pitting on lap 12, or between lap 12 and 18 to get themselves to the end of the Grand Prix. And another slide from Knifer. We'll have to ask him actually that was this his tactic, or this is just a bit of a mistake he's had to deal with. We'll only get to know as we're underway for the British Grand Prix, as all the cars line up on the grid. So that's going to be 5 red lights, and we go racing here at the British Grand Prix and CRR Cockpit Real Racing Classics Championship, and that is going to be some great starts from the pole drive from Chris Knifer out there. I think he's in first place. He is not in first place. He's in third place. He's lost the lead. He's lost the lead from No Sebo. He's lost the lead from Sergeant out there. No Sebo makes a little bit of a mistake out there, but it's going smooth as now Chris Knifer has to push others off, and now Sebo goes way wide, and now he's going to see him go from P1 to P7 as it says. That's far off for him. That is definitely not the start he would have wanted. That is certain pen at the moment. Remember, the guy could not certain current in the race. He got pole in France. He did not lead, but for how long he's going to lead the Grand Prix here at Britain before here at Silverstone before Chris overtakes him. But we'll have to see. Remember, Chris took pole, but he's lost the lead immediately. So now that's 2 races in a row. The pole sitter does not lead till at the end of lap 1. We'll have to get things done. And no assist has fallen behind. That is interesting, as Teamless started the P20, but now it's no assist that we see in last place, and after him it's P5, but no Silvo. He's got some work to do. He's got some time to make. No assist, and Certain currently leads over 7/10. We'll have to see how long his lead stays, but I'm sure he's probably got the tools. He's got the pace and everything to cover it off. But we'll only get to know who's the better driver in the long run. I believe that Certain, if he had done the second run in qualifying, could have been close in qualifying, or in fact might have had pole as well. Sure, in the end, Knifer got the pole by over 4/10, but I think there was a chance that Certain could have had it. We're already on lap 3, but I think it's going to be lap 2. Not going to be 3. The graphic just has some issues of its own in F1 2020 sometimes. It's a bit weird, but it's still interesting. Yep, still staying with 3, with over less than a second, but more than half a second. So 7/10, I shall say. We'll have to see how this race is going to play along. Now the gap getting less and less now. Knifer almost on the rear wing of Certain. Certain moving to the right hand side to get a better racing line and better grip. But Chris might get him just before Cops. So maybe on the straight after Meggetts and Beckett's could be his chance. Could be his chance to regain the race lead. A bit of a slide on the exit of the corner. On the exit of Cops' corner. But we'll have to see how good he's able to do. He's just shifting through those corners. See that manual shifted. Obviously it might not be manual for the drivers, as most wheels these days come up with pedal shifters, but we'll have to get our way and get thing, and he does not get past him. Certain manages to hold him off. That is great from both of them, but Certain now doing a decent enough job to not allow Chris. I think Certain, someone who deserves to win a race this season, has to be Certain, considering the other two have won it. But he hasn't, so I think if he rather really deserves it, he has to get it today, get another fastest lap, 1:42.2, but Chris won't be far off as well, that's for sure. We will have to wait and see. Oh, so I think both of them pitted, no assist and Teamless, both of them pitted now, currently P19 and P20. That could be some battle to watch out there as well, as we're having a look at the race leaders, but the bottom of the field might provide us some battles out there as well. We'll just have to see, as we're just focused on the top again. Now the gap is getting less and less, way less the gap now. Certain might make a mistake, and that could allow Chris to get through, but that is going to be, again, a little bit of a going wide out there for Certain, but it's really close now. He's almost on his rear wing. In fact, he is on his rear wing, gap by less than half a second now. There we go. Now these guys once again, Chris Knifer's just unable to pass. He's really close to Certain at the moment. He's very close to him, in fact, but he's just not able to pass. He's not able to process the message. He's not able to do much better than Certain at the moment. Sure, Certain is doing a great job holding him off, keeping him behind, but we'll have to wait and see. Knifer gets the fastest lap, and he gets through as well, just at the start finish straight. That was enough for Chris Knifer to get past Certain Penna now, so that takes Chris 3 whole laps and the beginning of the 4th one to get past Certain, but for how long before Certain could get past back Chris? But I think this is going to be a great battle unless Chris shows us another masterclass to pull away like many seconds. We will have to see, but get past, get these things, and we will have a look at it. Chris now pulling away, already the gap is going to be 8 tenths now. I think the fight again would really be between Certain and Nosebo. Where is Nosebo? He has pitted as well. He's really opted for an early pit stop. Remember, Certain one of strategy when he got damaged on lap 1, he pitted and almost did 22 laps in that French Grand Prix on those dry tyres, helping him finish P2, but we will have to see how long before Certain could have a chance, how long before Certain has his chances again. We'll have to see, but is he going to be close enough to make a move? Is he going to be close enough to make a lunge down the inside? The gap is almost less than half a second now. But for how long? A little bit of a slide on the exit for Chris. Chris moves to the outside line to defend, almost going into the rear wing, almost going into the gearbox of Chris Knifer there. This is a great front wing view that we're having from Certain's car, but that was really close, but just not close enough to overtake again for Certain. We will have to get to the top and get an idea of how good he's going to be able to do, but before he's ahead of Chris, but that might be unlikely for Certain Penna at the moment. It's currently on lap 5 out of 26, so I think he's still got 7 to 8 laps, or even more in fact, maybe 10 laps to the pit stop. I'm not sure. I'm sure he's not going to go till lap 15 for the pit stops, but could go. And Knifer now goes a 10th quicker than his previous lap. Sure, Chris Knifer's only starting to pick up pace, and the lead that he lost at the race start is going to come back, and that is going to be could be another masterclass, but you never know. It's never over in Formula 1 until it's over. The gap is 1.1 seconds to 1.2 seconds. It's increasing in between. Nosebo actually just 1.8 seconds behind Aaron Barnes at the moment. Then ahead is almost 3 Jordan cars in fact. It is Alan Forrest, Jonas, and then Jay. But we go to the top once again. These top 2 drivers giving it their all. So the bottom 3 are actually all the ones that have made a pit stop yet, as Nosebo's going to get past No Assist now. Actually, Nosebo's not going to get past No Assist, but he's going to make a move down the inside, almost making contact with the McLaren there. That is a pretty older model. An older one out there, as I think Teenless, and that's an interesting battle out here as well. Teenless and No Assist fighting out there. Teenless has made his way past No Assist, but for how long No Assist could come back at him. We'll have to have a look what he could do on the exit of Cops. Could there be a chance for No Assist? No, he's far away, but for how long? He goes very wide out there. I think if he continues that, there won't be long before he receives a 3-second time penalty for cutting and pretty much ignoring the warnings. But we'll have to see what he could do. For how long? As it's currently, these 2 are not making any progress. 23 seconds off the next car, but Nosebo is getting past only 1.8 seconds to the car ahead now, and making progress and gaining time again and again. But these 2 are rather kind of in the race of their own at the moment, unless there is a safety car. Very wide goes to Teenless out there, almost making contact with No Assist again, giving him damage out there. No Assist having to slow down. He already doesn't have a wing in fact though. Both of them have pitted. Now Nos is going to try and make a move, but he has to stay behind. And almost going wide out there as well. Just saves it. Just keeps it within the white lines. Nos is making a move, and he might make a few moves there. You're really utilizing his new tires. Rather, these guys are at it in the race of their own. But that is going to be interesting at the bottom of the field. A race between the drivers. A fight for the position. Fight for overtaking. Chris gets another fastest lap, 1:41.0. That is great, and that is we could just be seeing another Chris masterclass on lap 27 of 26. Oh, sorry, lap 7 of 26. Already they got 3.1 seconds between the top two. Big one that's going to be. There you go. Teenless gets a warning actually. I was saying that Chris might get it, but Teenless gets it because obviously he had some reckless driving as well. But we'll have to see if Noah is able to attack him back. The gap is actually increasing now, over 8/10. But I'm sure some mistake or something that's going to cause Noah to get closer, Teenless to get far away. But for how long though? How long are these guys going to go? Racing each other hard. These are surely they might be enjoying some racing at the moment, because usually it's not about positions unless it's for points. If it is in for points, it doesn't really matter. So really what matters is some fun out there, which 2.9 seconds now. The gap a little bit falling behind, but I think it's still far away unless it's within 1 second. We ain't having a look at that battle, but we'll see. It's not really over though, quite far away. There you go, the gap now actually a lot, 3.3 seconds. Noah is falling behind. I think he might have made a mistake and made many mistakes that could have caused him to get behind. There's no Turbo currently P13. On lap 8 out of 26 now. No Sebo is opted for an early pit stop after losing positions, after making a mistake. So he's really making his progress through, and now the top two, the gap is 3.4 seconds. It keeps increasing lap after lap. It keeps getting better and better and easier for Chris Neifer. I'm sure it's not easier inside that cockpit, but at least having a look at it, it seems to be easy though. But for how long that's going to be the case? He makes his way up, a little bit of tyres on the grass, and that could have been nasty if he didn't make his way past easily. Still Neifer really close, just 10th off his fastest lap time, against Serton's over 6 tenths off his fastest lap time. But we're pretty much now waiting for No Zebo to get there and to give us tough time to Certain. But for how long before we get a pit stop? And that is going to be No Zebo, I think, causing a yellow flag. That is not him actually. The yellow flag is another position, but it's another place. But it's far off the drivers. As 2 seconds the gap now, getting a little bit less between the two. I think there could be a time, in a little bit time now, we could be seeing some race pit stops, some pit stops coming in, some drivers making changes to their tires though. These guys might not need tires. They might try pitting though, because being in the bottom positions, that doesn't really matter for these guys anyways, but they might be gaining some positions now. What about No Sebo? How many is he gonna gain? Let's Have a look at it though. He's obviously making his way past many drivers. He's done 5 laps on these tires now. After making a mistake, running for a few laps, he's tried to opt for for a little bit of a different strategy than the leaders. We'll have to see. I think leaders having done 8 laps on those tires, onto the 9th one. But we will get to see when are those pit stops the pit windows are gonna open. I think it's still gonna be a long way before the pit windows is open though. Teenless now making his way past. So is Nosebo making his way past to Martin. But he's sure going to try and get Alex Murray now, then on to the next driver in B7. But sure, I think his main focus is going to be P2, the driver that is in P2, Sertan Pena. Sure, the leader currently 4.6 seconds ahead. But for how long though? Could there be a mistake? There's a chance that if he makes a mistake, could bring him down. A chance that he makes a mistake that maybe sees him towards the end of the grid though. But we'll have to see for how long he does it, for how long he's going to try and do it. Around the outside goes Nosebo of Alex Murray out there, has to push it, get himself out of the circuit, go wide, but he makes the move stick, gets it going, and into P8 goes Nosebo. That's another easy move for him though. But these guys now making pit stops, the AI drivers having their pit stops. But what about non-AI drivers? The real life drivers, the drivers that we are having a look at, the drivers that are competing against each other, the drivers that are performing. Now Chris Knifer getting the gap to 4.1 seconds, already getting to lap the last running car. That is interesting to see, as we're going to have a look at no assist and Teenless now again really closer to each other. Nosebo now in P6, and actually any driver that pits ahead of him, that might see him go P4 actually. The gap to P2 and P3 is actually far a lot of it, so much. But I wonder how it's going to stay. Nosebo has to back out there into Meggett, and Meggett is going to go there. Yeah, it actually seems to be really slow through those, through Ferraris. And I'm sure on the exit of it, he's going to be really eager to try and overtake the two and get himself into P4, which is going to be the ideal position to get ahead of Sophie and Correa, to get himself down the inside, goes Nosebo into P4. And that is going to be the gap now, 2.8 seconds to P3. Nosebo could be enjoying a little at the front out here, as Gnosis and Teenless actually in their own races as well. Nobody really close to each other, to them, but someone who's going to be closer to Lucas Roth is going to be Nosebo. Almost a minute down. That makes it almost a lap down on the leaders, but we'll have to see. Far away actually to Chris. Oh, there goes Sertan Pena. He's making his way. He's improving on his time. That might see him improve and get closer to get closer to Chris Knifer. He's surely maybe saving his tires on the previous laps to try and get better now. I don't think he's going to get the fastest lap though, but he does get a better lap, a tenth and a half quicker than his previous lap time though. That puts this gap from 4 seconds to 3.6 seconds. The pit window now opens into lap 12. There you go. But are they going to pit? Is he going to pit? I think lap 13 is going to be an ideal stop as getting your cars to the end of the race. I think any time could actually get themselves to the end of the race. But we'll have to see. We'll have to get things fast. We'll have to get things written. We'll have to see what these could do, what all of these drivers could do. Currently now, Nosebo finally gets ahead of Lucas Roth, get himself into P3, but he's far off the leaders. I'm sure he might get closer to these guys, but they probably would have to pit now. Or in fact, I think there would be a pit stop ahead actually, how much they've driven, and that is going to be easily free pit stop for all of them, as Certain now gets the strategy open clip as well. But we'll have to see if he's going to pit this at the end of this lap or not. 1.2 seconds slower than his previous lap time. What about Chris Neifer though? I think he might go a little lap or two quicker, a lap or two more on these tyres. But he doesn't. He's going to come into the pits. So will Certain. It's going to be pit stop crew versus pit stop crew. Where is no Sebo though? He's far, far away. So that's going to be pretty much a free pit stop to the top two drivers. Just the fight of themselves is against each other, and that is going to be Certain actually getting into the pits first. It is going to be Chris Neifer getting first and to service and exit the pit lane. We don't see times though actually how long it took them into the pits though, but an interesting one. Certain would love to exit, and there you go. Certain no assist is on around Megan Beckett, making his way past through those corners, so he's far away from the top two. So I think today his chances and dreams of a top three finish might be over before they even began, but we'll have to see though. It's obviously not over until it's over, but unless some of the top two drivers could pin it in the wall, and there has been a mistake from Chris Neifer, that might have been, and that's going to be Certain Penna getting past Neifer, and one more time Chris doing a little bit of a mistake, getting past Certain, and has to concede race lead. But for how long that is going to be the case, Certain might try and get hold of Chris Neifer for as long as possible, keep him under pressure, give him all the pressure that he should get for losing the race lead. But for how long, we'll have to see. Currently lap 13 out of 26 for the leaders, for everyone of course. So now exactly this much laps is remaining, as many of the drivers have done. The gap now 1 second, now even increasing on Neifer, who now again gaining time on him. Neifer giving the pressure to Certain. Doesn't mean if Chris is going to make a mistake, but that is going to be, doesn't mean if he makes a mistake, doesn't mean if he lets Certain past. He's going to try and get past him once again. One more time. Chris is really close to Certain, but he's far away. Don't think he's going to make the move now, but he's getting better and better lap times on those brand new tyres. Obviously Certain's got them as well, but he doesn't seem to be making the most of them. Sure, he is going to try and do what he can with the pace he has, but Chris just seems to be quicker in overall pace. But 5/10 the gap. If he could hold him off for one more lap, could try and hold off Chris for as long as he can to get his tyres off, to get Chris pushing as long as he can though. But I think both of them pitting on the same lap and the same exact time probably would be rather Certain giving up on his tyres if he tries pushing too much. We'll have to see if he's improving in the middle sector. It's the 10th down. What about Neifer? We just don't get to see one of the other drivers' time if we see one of them's, but that is going to be Certain, still conserving the lead, still keeping the race lead to himself. There is no one that's going to come and touch him. That could be Chris Neifer just in a few laps time. Maybe he could now try and overtake him, just like the last time that he took the race lead from Certain. But this, at least not going into turn one, there won't be a big chance for him to take the lead though. But for how long, we'll have to see. Now the gap is shrinking and shrinking. That mistake from Chris just had to get Certain past, but then Chris stepping up and getting even better, really, on the rear wing of Certain now on this DRS straight, which these cars don't have DRS, but it is a DRS straight on the second, and on the inside line he moves to the left very early, but he doesn't make the move though. Certain didn't move, but he brakes very later, as late as Chris has to go back out and do not overtake as well, and all these guys now lapping the drivers, but that might have been playing against Certain out there, because the lap AI driver was really slow. Both of them are going to fight each other out, and around the outside that's going to be into Cops they go, and we have to have a look at it. And now that was Certain taking the lead, and Chris having to back out, but these guys really giving it a good battle out there. That is really interesting to watch as Certain goes very wide, comes out, Chris comes back on the second, Chris going into the back of him, or that was just some other car out there, because that doesn't seem to affect Certain's time if he's run wide out on track, only on lap 15, and the race and the battle is only becoming and getting alive from now. It's going to be now on to lap 16, just with 10 laps remaining in the Grand Prix after this one. It's going to be interesting to see how good does Certain do to try and defend against Chris Sniper, the man who's won twice this season, but I think he's won it 3 times this season rather. In fact, not 2 times, but 3 times. My bad. USA, Brazil and France the previous time, and now he's going to try and do it the 4th time, but if he's going to be able to do it, he's going to be denied by Certain. Not anymore, but he's hanging it around there. But for how long? Certain is really giving a great fight out there to Chris out there. Both of them fantastically doing drastic lap times and staying closer to each other. I think Certain isn't really that fast as compared to Chris, but sure, giving him a very hard time to try and overtake. Chris might have a look at him, now moves to the outside line to try and overtake into Meggins and Beckett, but it's not going to be possible again as well. That is really close between the two. This is some great racing between the top 2 out there. Just after the pit stops, this has to be alive, race alive now. Around the outside, going a little wide out there. Certain making no mistake so far, and I think as long as he doesn't make many mistakes, there could well be a chance of him winning the British Grand Prix. But for how long? No, because I think not many laps before Chris overtakes him, and once he's ahead of him, that's going to be pretty much he's going to be the one to catch. But I think Certain's doing a great job. And now he's going to go on the inside goes Chris. That is a dive bomb, a lunge. And they make contact. They bang wheels. The top 2 bang wheels and make contact. Certain stays ahead. But something, the stewards might have to say something about it. Just around the outside, Chris hanged it in there. But there was some contact. Maybe Certain didn't see him out there. But that is going to be really close out there. Chris gets a time penalty, so properly, if Certain just could hold him off for at least 3 more laps, till lap 20 if he holds him off, and even if he lets him by that time, I don't think Chris is really going to be able to pull off over 3 seconds, just within 3 laps. We'll have to wait and see though, and that is a great job done by Certain again. A little bit of a time lost for Chris behind that lapped car, but this is going to be alive now. Just a lap, just a battle with 7/10. The gap now between the top 2. That might shrink in if Chris does a better job. But for how long? The gap is indeed shrinking now. At the end of lap 17, Certain Penna leads the British Grand Prix. He's led in France. He's led many of the races as well. But he hasn't been able to win this season. But still many laps to go though. This could be a great close battle. Could be fantastic. Around the outside, another corner, he stays ahead. This has been going
battle, and now round the outside goes Chris. But is he going to make the move stick? He indeed is going to be doing that. Apologies for that, but around the outside, Certain could hang it around there. Is he going to try and attack back? Chris is really eager to unleash those tires, unleash that pace that he has, but Certain's not going to leave him behind as well. He's going to give it everything, and to the corner ahead, who's going to brake later. Certain tried everything to keep him ahead, keep him behind, but that just wasn't enough. Some lap or the other that was going to come around, but if the lap car ahead could do something here and there to help Chris get a little bit slower, they might have done so, because Certain's now going to be a lot closer than Chris before he would have been, and that little bit of grass touching corners going right there did Chris, and this is going to be really close, making it their way past Beckett's and Beckett's. This is going to be really interesting and really race. And some amazing battle to watch we've been watching, but Chris Neifer was behind on all the time after the pit stop. This time he's ahead, but Certain, I think Certain is still far away though on the straight. Chris is gaining a lot as well, but if there could be a move, if there could be a dive down the inside line move from Certain, he's rather more careful to not ruin his P2 than get the P1, but I think today he's got to go for that. He's got a lot of P2 and P3s, but no P1, and if he could get it today, surely that's going to be a memorable one. But Chris gets a faster lap and a better lap time. Now, unless Certain's got a lot of pace in himself, that might be it for his race winning dreams once again, 2 weeks in a row. But we'll have to see. I think now the car ahead of Certain is going to cause some problems for him. But for Chris, 1.4 seconds the gap now between the top two, which could be no Seppo currently running in P3 as well. We haven't even had time to look at the others, how good the battle was between and now P4 for Teenless. Remember, he started P20, but now they got 1.6 seconds. But a little bit of interruptions for Chris out there could help Certain, but that might turn against him if he's stopped by the AI as well. This is really good. Still they got 1.6 seconds. We have a little ray of hope, we have a little light of hope that it's gonna be Certain who's gonna try and get closer to Chris Neifer, to try and get closer, as much closer as he can. We'll have to see if he's able to do any better, and he gets past the AI driver. The gap was 1.3 seconds. Chris is having to get past another AI lapped car. These lapped cars are really sometimes against some of these drivers, sometimes closer, but Ferrari's going to get out of the way, but the gap's still 1.4 seconds. I think there well could be a chance if he's able to do that. So I think how good is Chris going to be able to do? He gets the fastest lap, 140.3, fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Certain improves as well, 3/10 than his previous lap time, but I think just not fast enough. We'll have to see what's the fastest lap actually of what's the fastest lap. We actually don't have the data that to see which driver's fastest lap is how much. But sure, Certain's also improving, but I think Chris is really giving it everything out there. Still 6 laps after this one to the end of the Grand Prix. The battle was amazing. That was some great battle between the two, and that was really worth watching out there. We'll have to wait and see how it was, or how it is going to be again to the end of the Grand Prix. But this was amazing and a greater one to watch. Still got much race to remain. There could be some battles to the end of the Grand Prix again. We'll have to wait and see. But there you go. We are going to have a look at it. Now Chris making his way past another AI drive with a gap of 1.7 seconds, I think. Also, not to forget that Chris has a penalty, 3-second time penalty, that if he can't get the gap to over 3 seconds, Certain might get the victory out there. It doesn't matter if he doesn't get it out on track, he could get it at the end of the race. The penalties are added, unless he gets a penalty, but I hope he doesn't though, because he really needs to win, and he gets to win the Grand Prix. And Teamless makes another mistake, losing another position. No assist in P4, so Certain 2.7 seconds, the gap getting more and more now. Victory dreams on track were over before, could be over now after the race, after the penalties applied, as well as many are going around. We'll have to see though. To know Sebo in his own race at the moment in P3, and then that's the most he could do after an early mistake early in the race. But for how long the top are going smooth at the top are going good at 2.7 seconds the gap. This was only going to be good at probably even this was the last lap of the race, but it isn't, so the gap could well be more than 3 seconds. And I think Certain probably had a few more, had to stop Chris for a few laps, and Tiris Neifer goes quicker by over 4 tenths, almost 5 tenths in the race. Lap after lap he's going really quicker, and we'll have to see how good it stands out to the at the end of the race though. So far it's going smooth, so far it's going decent enough. It's lap 21, and that is going to be another fastest lap for Chris now for 1:39.5. That was nearly some of the drivers' qualifying time, even less, even more. Chris is just extraordinary though. 26 laps, lap 22 of 26, so 4 laps remaining at the end of this one. This is some great battle. The gap is now increasing and getting better and better. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how long it stands, how well it stands, but we'll get it around to lap 22 of 26 now. They're still going smooth. I think 4.6 seconds far off. Certain probably would have to settle for P2 though, but still a great job, I think. An absolutely amazing job done by Certain out there to give us some great battle. But 5 seconds now the gap, so really that penalty also is not going to be effective at all. So that is Norris not making mistakes, that is Needless not making mistakes. He's basically going to the pits maybe for the fastest lap, or for just some fresher tyres, having done 18 laps on that. And he's anyways actually not far away. He's actually far away from the next driver ahead, so that doesn't matter for him if he pits or not. So he's really going to just do that, try and pit. And Chris gets another fastest lap. That is absolutely amazing for him. He's just getting better and better now. And now towards the end of the Grand Prix, we get just lap 23 of 26 now. 3 laps to the end of the Grand Prix. There was a little slide on the exit, the rear sliding almost for Chris Neifer out there. But he's doing an exceptional job, like he's done on the other 3 Grand Prix that he's won. He's going to get on to the 4th one just in a little bit time. As I get having a look at the top 5. Tilis is losing positions. I thought he was not going to lose any positions to the next driver ahead, but I think he made a mistake after that. He might have not done so, or he had some damage that he had to pit for. The drivers, the laps, the cars still staying still, the tracks, the track, the people, everything, the fans staying still, the cars and the wheels moving around to see Chris win another race, to see Certain finish P2, but could well be something changing towards the end of the race. I don't think much is going to change unless one of the drivers puts it in the wall. Still fantastic job. P1 for Chris at the moment, having 9 laps on those tires actually. Only 2 drivers actually in the race with a time penalty are to Captain Teenless and Chris Neifer, but Chris's penalty isn't really meaning anything at all. He's anyways going to get a P1. The gap is over 6.8 seconds now. He's really fantastic. Got P3 for Noah Surst, and I think that might have been a mistake from Nosebo, and that indeed was a mistake from Nosebo, because the yellow flag showed exactly there. He was straight out on track, but that didn't show us much. It's going to be Nosebo currently P3. I think he's done a decent enough job as well. A mistake at the beginning of the lap really got him get around some places, so that's going to be P to 5.8 seconds. Huge gap margins to the victorious 3-second time penalty Chris had, but that is not going to mean anything at all as well. We'll have to see. I think these first have really given us, I think this really has to be the race of the season, of considering how close the battle was and how close the fighting was. I'm sure other battles have been there, but the battle for race wins, battle for victory has to be this one, has to be this race, the British Grand Prix, between the drivers in these classic cars, that are amazing and absolutely great to drive, but obviously when you're not winning, that doesn't feel great as well. But I'm sure everybody's going to try doing their best, as now the race leader is going to start along with everybody else their fine second last lap, the lap before the final lap, the lap before you get to realize everything, how much you've done in this race, how much you've done before, how many laps you've done before. You have to do it once again. Whereas on lap 25, though, I think we're probably going to pick up on the leader at the final lap of the race. Having a look at Teenless at the moment, after making mistakes qualifying, he's actually back into P4, considering he's just quicker than the cars behind, and his best chances of a position. And Noah is making another mistake, might allow Teenless to get there. That is not going to be far away if Noah makes another mistake. I think Noah sometimes has the pace, but just makes those mistakes, which rather see him fall back the grid, fall a lot behind. Though he's currently P4, but obviously that's not going to be the case if he makes too many mistakes, if he keeps making mistakes. No Sebo, 1.1 seconds slower than his previous lap time. I think he is doing a decent job as well, keeping it P3. Not many mistakes from him. He's got 2 victories as well, remember, the one in Monza and the one in Monaco, and after that came France. Canadian Grand Prix results were not taken actually, so that's how the things fared around lap 25 out of 26 now. Chris Neifer, and the man now, he's got a penalty, he's got 3 seconds of it, but I'm sure he knows he got to make those, and he's already done it. 5.5 seconds, the gap is decreasing actually. Something could have happened for him, but 5 seconds the gap now, that is coming down and down, and if that comes down till 3 seconds, that could be victory for certain. But I don't think Chris is really going to do that or let that happen. The gap increases back again. There was some kind of a thing, maybe he made a bit of a mistake, or just cooling down the car now, because anyways he's over 5.4 seconds ahead. He needs 3 seconds to margin, and he's going even more quicker to try and get that extra fastest lap point. 5.5 seconds on the final lap, and on in the middle sector of the race track here at the Silverstone circuit is the British Grand Prix, round 8 of the 12 round Classics Car Championship. Chris Neifer, who's missed a few races, he's won the 3 that he's attended. He's gonna come home to make his way past and on Beckett and just get onto the straight now to get closer and closer to victory and get victory for the 4th time this season. As others follow him behind as well, Chris Neifer the man who's won 3 times the race, 3 races he's attended. He's going to come home to make his way past the final corner to win 4 times the 4 races he attends. Victory number 4 out of the 8 races in this championship, and Certain Penna is going to come home to finish P2 again. Sure, he fought hard for the P1, but couldn't quite be his. And no assist now, far off these guys, over 41 seconds the gap. We're yet to see him finish P3 though. The others have taken the checkered flag. No assist taking P4 home, and Teamless in the end getting that P5. So that is, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be podium finishers. No Sebo hasn't finished the race yet, but we're going to see how it stands, how it gets around. We will have to get to P3, and that is going to be it. The podium ends, the race ends. Those are your top 3. No Sebo ends up P3 in 2 races in a row now, but I think this was a decent enough race for him as well after a mistake. That's what you could expect. That's pretty much what you could see. And those are your podium celebrations now. Another trophy for Chris, his 4th of the 4 races that he's attended. So that is going to be Chris in for even with a penalty in the end. That was 3.1 seconds. That was really close though. But he got to victory, and that came home for Chris to be number 1, to be P1. So ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much is going to be it of the stream out here. I hope you enjoyed it. This was a great British Grand Prix. Another one race with CRR, not many before the championship comes to an end. So make sure to follow everything up, and that is going to be really amazing to get to the end of the championship as well. Chris is so far so smoothly leading it. We'll have to see how good or how he's going to take that around. So that pretty much going to be it. This is Epic here.